Ngihlala amacassette ngiyariwana ngiyaforwarda ngifuna sinde fast singene ku-desert singene ku-desert ubani obolozayo mangihleli nentombi yami la khona ongqonqozayo kanti ubani ongqonqozayo kodokani nekholoza nina ngizonibetha kodokani It's far. Yamthanda lo muntu ngiyamthanda it's far. Thali ngoma yami izolo uthi ngiyamchaza izolo mangani uthi ngiyamjama.
Sanbonani bafethu, welcome to another episode of the East Rand Podcast Files, and thank you very much for watching. And as you know, this is the place where we bring you our unsung heroes, and today on the show we have a trailblazer of note, a man with an impeccable musical background, a non-conformist who has been in the South African music industry for more than 20 years, has released more than 20 albums, has worked with the likes of the late Brenda Fassie, Stompie Mavi, and currently working with the likes of Professor, Bongo Riot, and Zakwe, to name but a few. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please help me welcome our living legend from the East Rand. Joe Nina is in the house today, Bafetu. Grootman, welcome to the East Rand Podcast Files, and thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us today.
Thank you very much.
How are you feeling today, Grootman?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling like a beautiful day.
Yes.
And I appreciate it and honored to be part of the East Rand
Podcast Files. Yes.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
The honor is all ours.
Sure.
Joe Nina.
Voila.
You know, when you say this name, man, you know, I'm thinking music. Grootman, I know you've done so many interviews before, but I'm gonna take you back to basics, Gule, so that people can get to know you, gahle.
For sure.
When did you start singing, Grootman?
I started singing, I think, from the age of 5. I then professionally started playing instruments from the age of 12. And basically, I'm from a background of a family of musicians. My father was a musician.
Okay.
My mother was a backing vocal in my father's band.
Okay.
And hence I started everything very early. At the age of 12, I was already playing drums and piano.
Okay. At the age of 12.
Yes. And I released my first LP, busy vinyl, man.
Yes.
At the age of 14.
14?
Yeah, in the 80s. And then I got the smash hit when I changed my name from Makosini Henry Klaba to Joe Nina.
Okay.
When I released an album called Ding Dong.
Ding Dong.
Yes.
We're gonna get to that.
Yes.
We're gonna get. How did the name Joe Nina come about?
You see, I grew up at the time of the apartheid. So when you go to these record companies, if you I'm an artist, my name is Makosini Klaba, they would say, it's gonna be difficult to sell this, know. So I had to I came up with lots of names. My first name I was given, it was King Rap. I was a rapper at the time.
Okay. I can imagine.
King Rap, the cuts of MCM, I can't touch this.
Yes.
And then after that, they changed my name to T McCool, which is Terrence McCool. T McCool.
Okay.
Like McCool. And it worked okay, but not okay. They changed my name again to Salimaya, but that one I changed it myself because I was influenced by Salif Keita.
Salif Keita, yes.
So I called myself Salimaya. Later on, I decided, no man, okay. And they used to call me Tso, like Ntandu Potso.
Oh, yes.
So they used to call me Tso and Bangbizu Jozo.
Okay.
So I needed a surname, and my favorite artist, piano player, the legendary Nina Simone.
Oh, Nina Simone,
so
yes.
So I decided to call myself Joe Nina.
Oh.
Yeah.
And what year was that? Was it now after the 80s?
Yes.
After you released your LP? Or?
Yes, and that is after all the names. After I think I called myself Joe Nina in 1990.
Okay.
When I released the first LA beat with a song called Boss of the Road.
Boss of the Road,
that
okay.
That is before Ding Dong.
Oh, that was before Ding Dong.
Before Ding Dong.
You were Joe Nina then?
Yes.
Okay.
And I released a concept album called LA Beat, Boss of the Road. And then after that, I released my first LP as Jonina, which didn't take off so well. And the second one, which was Ding Dong,
Okay, we're gonna get into that, eh?
Yes.
You are regarded as the original founder and the pioneer of Kwaito music. How did that happen?
It started when I helped Arthur Mafukate with Coca-Cola Full Blast competition. Remember that I was already an artist that had recorded, young as I was, so he needed assistance, and I had to help him and sing some of the songs so that he can put it through, and then he got the deal. So he went his way and I went my way, but when I was doing mid-tempos, I was doing cover versions. And I thought, this is nice, man. I can add a little bit of Mpakanga and do the township lingo and release it. And that's how it became. I didn't call it Kwaito originally.
Yes.
Because for me, music is music. And before I know it, everyone was calling it Kwaito. All the songs were starting to sound like the song I did. I think I was like, how much less of creativity? And yes, so everyone started. Then came Arthur with his album, came M2, and then before I know it, it was a big bang called Kwaito music.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did the song Ding Dong come about? Because that track, even today,
Yeah.
you know, people are still jamming to that track.
There's a friend of mine who passed on. May his soul rest in peace. Malake Usandi. He used to stay here in Guatemala, in Nwati Street.
Okay.
Yeah. So I used to take my school bag. And go leave my school bag kabusandi. Ngichinje mangifika kabusandi. She's into Zambia and take the train to Jozi to go do music. And then come back, ngesikhathi sokuphuma esikole ngigqoke uniform bese ngibuyele edladleni. So one day I decided, no, Sandy, you must come with me. So we took the train to Jozi, and I remember we were going to Hillbrow at the studios car Ale Khaudi.
Okay.
There was a song called Butterfly that they were struggling to record.
Okay.
They couldn't find the keys properly, and apparently I had good ears at the time.
Okay.
As well. So I went there and helped them. And while we were doing that, I sit training in Sand. I was like, yes, Marameli spelling ingoma my sister grand umuhle yabo. Besingakade my yellow bone there.
Okay.
Besithi uvet lo baby. Manje yellow bone. I'm thinking she's more lighter than yellow. In any case, so Msanda, so yeah, kazi mina ngicabanga ukuthi sebenzele igama elithi Maria Podesta. Maria Podesta was igama elisebenziswa amajita edanyaneni in jail, that is. When you know you're going to get a visitor who is a lady, you would say Maria Podesta uzongishayela.
Oh, okay.
And so we thought, okay, this name is nice, but instead of uyangihlanyisa, I would rather say ungishaya
Ding
Ding
Dong.
Dong. There we go. Then it came out together
Wow,
like that. Yes.
wow.
And before I know it, today it's my worst nightmare.
Yonke
indawo, man. So it's like, there's times where I perform, I bring the band together, beautiful set, and ngikhohle with Ding Dong. Angeke ngihambe Ding Dong, Ding Dong. Then you have to play the song regardless. and wait, I'm grateful, but it is a nightmare.
Wow.
Kakhulu, yes.
Why did you transition from Kwaito to Afro Soul?
My point exactly when I said earlier on, then they started copying each other and copying my beats and all that. For me, it became monotonous. It was extremely monotonous, and I couldn't. And I want to believe that in life you must always try different things. So I had to venture into something else, and I was inspired by Ubab Jabu Khanyile. I was inspired by Mpakanga, Soul Brothers, Atamia. So I decided, okay, I'm gonna take that portion of Lento Bengiqalile with me mid-tempo. Only this time I won't rap it.
Yes.
I'm gonna sing it.
Oh, yes.
And then before I know it, nalapho ke sebathi Afro pop. I'm like, I'm a small Mpakanga than Afro pop, man. These guys, what's wrong with these human beings? And also before I know it, this is 100.
Everyone is doing
and
it.
it's starting to sound the same once again. I thought,
No, you're a trailblazer for sure.
Yeah, then I for some time I moved a bit and I started doing a smooth jazz.
Oh, yes.
Which I'm doing currently. But also I still do a lot of what we call Afro Soul.
Afro Soul, absolutely. How do you feel about Kwaito today?
I think it has lost its meaning because what it is now, Kwaito is what we call amapiano now. You know, only doesn't have a bass drum. You can hear the production, and I'm sorry, my gents. It's just that production. It's very painful for my ears. You know, I've done sound engineering for a long time, so especially if it plays on air. Like, what kind of a compiler is this, man? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Your brains are not, you know, like you ever would know. So I feel that my piano has a potential of being even a bigger boom, you know, because everyone loves the groove, loves the beat, and it's exactly Kwaito. But now the content is, for me, is not there. Angazi bakhuluma ngani. You know, it's all about just fun. It's about dissing. You know, it's for me personally, it's meaningless. You know, and ukhuluma noma ngani.
Yeah.
So kuyafana
And it's repetitive.
noma yini Joe, wasirekhode noma yini. Nengoma joyini noma yini. So for me personally, I'm sorry, I don't mean to diss the brothers, but I'm hoping they'll pull up their songs from what I'm saying, because there's potential. We can make a difference. We can, because what I like about it is that in an identity, it's us, you know, but it's not complete. You need to do it proper. We need to do proper production. We need to get the content. There's so much violence out there. There's so much corruption out there. There is so much that is going wrong out there. There is so much you know, this thing, are hypocrites who pretend to know God when they don't, you know, and chowing people's money using God's name. That's why sishiswa nayilanga kabuhlungu kanje. Ngoba siyona abantu sikhuluma manga, you know, sifake nesiphambano. How true. That's for me, I think that's brave, you know. We should abantu sebanesibindi lesi sisibindi esinesi.
And abantu just because but desperate
bayalandela bayobhadala okweshumi. I don't remember God saying funa okweshumi kwami. Me personally, I pray and He answers my prayers without taking a cent.
How do you create a song? I'm asking this because there's this reminiscence feel in your sound, especially on the Nomthandazo album, since I'm more familiar with, you know, especially on tracks like Twister, Mama Kasibongile, Amanzi Aweko. You know, you always have this unique sound. And let me tell you something, a personal story about the album Laga Nomthandazo. I remember back in the day, I used to date this girl, Ligama lakhe Megu Nomthandazo. And then it happened that she dumped me, you know. And then whilst I was dealing with the breakup, you released Nomthandazo, the album. And then Grootman, I must say that the song itself, Nomthandazo, I felt like ngathi uyibhalele mina, because yonke into oyikhulumayo lapho uyakhuza. And mina kimi, it was the situation I was facing, and then at the time, you know. And then from then on, I fell in love with the whole album. You know, I fell in love with the album, and the more I listen to the album, I can feel your signature in your songs. Ukuthi khona le touch yaka Brajonina. How do you get to that level and maintain your authenticity?
It's a difficult question. I'll tell you why. Mainly because when you write, when I write, I don't specifically look for what can sound like. You know, it just comes to me differently. I suppose it could be the choice of sounds. One, I'm very choosy when it comes to sounds. You know, there's one sound in particular that I love. It's called the Rhodes.
Okay.
Mark 1. Ngithanda because it was the most instrument that was used in the olden days, especially for soothing kind of melodies, songs that were sorrowful, painful, yet the song will come and ease you from the pain itself. But another thing I think is because I was born at the time when we were listening a lot to Umpaqanga and Statamia. And also that comes from pain, if you remember well. Statamia comes from when the guys were taken from the country to another country, back to escaping. That's when Statamia came. So they were in pain, in chains, you know, all these things I don't want to talk about because they make me feel bad and they revoke hatred in me. And how can another human being of a different color hate another human being of a different color and feel superior for that matter? That it revokes a lot of hatred in me because I feel we are all human beings. For one to have that kind of a thought and a feeling and to
Towards
it's-
another human being.
It's just evil, you know. It's terrible. It's ugly, and most of my harmonies are based on such, you know. With kind of, since we felt so much pain, and even if I was not there, but I feel the pain our forefathers and grandfathers felt at the time. I always want a melody that will be harmonious. Noma kumnandi, but itashe kancane enhliziyweni and enjoy. You know?
That's that touch and
Yeah, so that's for me. That's music.
Yes,
You know, it's gotta do something to you. You gotta feel something. Even if it's a dancing song, for instance, you mentioned Twister. You see, Twister, it says "Mkhumbule izolo,
yes.
silele namajita,
Namajita,
siphethe
yes.
abantwana, ngasemnandi nje." It's a beautiful song about dancing, but
Yes.
when it comes to the harmonies against yakuthinta,
Lenting, that's what I picked
ithi
up.
ave ngithanda masihleli kamnandi kanje singahluphani. Because that's what I would love to see in life, living in life harmoniously. Hayi lento ukuhwebhana mase ngiphuze kakhulu ukapa ngebhodlela. Oh, mase okay, maybe manje ngoba it's a new generation and kapa nge-cell phone. Kapa nge-cell phone. What's wrong with you, bang? I would rather have a moment where siyajabula and we're happy and we hug each other. As much as much about social distancing, but I still feel this COVID must also go away, because I still want that handshake, sifilane.
Yes.
That's what God created us for, ukuthi sizwane sibe harmonious emhlabeni, and it's through greed and hatred nalento try to be superior amongst each other, esenza sigcine sizondana and keep each other from each other, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. How many albums do you have?
As I'm speaking to you now, I've got a new single that I just released with Professor and Zakwe on my album called 2020. It was supposed to be released last year.
Okay.
It's my 30th album.
Wow. 30th album.
And when I say it's my 30th album, it's my 30th album as me as an artist. Away from what I've produced for other people.
And features.
Away from that. Just me alone. 30. And I'm very grateful. 3 decades, man.
Wow,
Because it's unclean.
How, how do you keep making music for so long, especially in this industry, as we have witnessed people come and go, abanye giving us I'm a one-hit wonder and they vanish. How do you keep sane and focused?
You see, in my case, I want to believe that music is in me. It's music is my life. That's my tagline in some of my things. Music is my life. I was born for music. I was born with music. I was born into music. So ngiphilela wona, and regardless, you know, and I hope the guys piano bangithathi kabi. I once spoke about the genre of music called igqom. And ngabatshela ngathi sanileni fast kakhulu James bathi 125 BPM yabona ama drugs lawo yezongithola bathi bam athi yazi the chance ngiyanitshela nizova fast movie, this is not right, bacanga ukuthi nginomona yabo manje igqom la struggle as we speak yabo. That's why unfortunately out here Mutira now is trying to maneuver into my piano now. Easy. It's because abantu they take things for granted, and I believe that music, it's supposed to be nourishing for the soul. You know, it's supposed to be food for the heart and soul and ears. And imagine that they're doing it just it's not only for money, they're doing it for fame. They just want to be famous. And then they think when they're famous, they've got it all. And you can be famous and be miserable, you know, and be famous still with Shiman. But they think more so famous was my sister Papa, and think, no, man, they're doing it for the wrong reasons. So if we can just focus, I think what keeps me is that I honestly don't care ukuthi ubani wenzani weyaphi, the time changes, kwenzakalani. I focus on what I dream about. I focus on what the spirit tells me at the time. When I feel this is a composition I want to do, I do it. I don't want to think with ish mara manje isikhathi piano manje lena piano what you. No, I do it. I've got a new song I just wrote 2 days ago. It's called Bambelela. And I think it's a beautiful song. So me, because I'm not a hypocrite, I would never lie to you and say, Jesus, what. No. It's a song that is spiritual. It's not religious. It's not gospel.
Okay.
So abantu abaningi banophambanisa izingoma, it's like I got a song that says, thank you, my Lord. I wrote that song when I was in a coma. I had an accident in 2001. And I broke both my legs.
Is it?
I smashed my whole face. and I don't know what in in love. So I was in a coma, and when I woke up, they said there's a chance that I would never be able to walk again. And I wrote that song before Nchai Sangemoto. I used to race cars, by the way. So before Nchai Sangemoto, I wrote the song, said thank you, my Lord, because I was grateful for my life. I was young.
Before even the accident.
Before. So when I was in a coma, I didn't know. They've been here for a month. But family I wouldn't let you go. And the day they were saying that suicide machine, and they decided, then my heart decided to, I don't know. Equal inhliziyo yami yazi mama bakhipha umshini athi ngingamancala kusemnandi lemhlabeni mancane. And then I went back to life and I breathed again. Our doctor said chances are you won't be able to walk again. So I was on a wheelchair until I performed at Joburg Theatre 4 months after the accident. I was on the wheelchair. People were like sad in it. It was
so
bad.
You were performing.
I was performing wheelchair, and people were sad, but they were there because they love me, and I love them for that, and I appreciate it once again. But when I sang that song, "Thank You, My Lord," I stood up, and I held on to the microphone until the end of the show.
Wow.
And since that day, I'm walking.
Wow.
and what I'm trying to say is that people must never mistaken the strength of God and our ancestors for the mistake of the lies of the prophecies they claim to be. These are all the things that I want to believe, which is just moshela la emhlabeni. All this corruption, that's what's causing the pain and the havoc in the universe as it is.
Wow. Yeah, very detailed for sure. As someone who has been in this industry for more than 2 decades, how different is the music sound from then till now? Do you feel that the quality is still there?
Okay, can I repeat your question for you?
Yeah, sure.
Do you still feel that the quality is still there? I'm not sure. I'm not, even in America now, man. All these rappers. Hey, what's happening here? These are nightmares,
and
man.
the funny thing, Prajonina, is that music sells.
It's crap, man. I don't care. Yes. Buy it for yourselves, man. Buy it for yourselves. I don't want that. It's rubbish. It's terrible, man. You see, I'm sorry to say it, but it's true. You see how much junk food is selling?
Yes.
Junk food is selling more than real food. Have you noticed that?
Absolutely.
And junk food is the cause of obesity. Junk food is the cause of sicknesses in the human body. And that's what's selling the most.
And it's selling the
so
most.
Because of that, you cannot tell me because those songs are selling a good song. No, man. Another man's food is another man's poison. I'm going to just what? I'm thinking, no, man, something is wrong. These people were born drug addicts. Sorry, but it's true. I'm sorry.
No, for sure, Grootman.
Yeah, my man,
I think that example of junk food uyenze kahle because that's a perfect comparison.
Absolutely.
We're still having a chat with Prajonina, having a good time, man. Now, Grootman, tell us about the time you mentored Professor njengoba uthi mekabloma nawe la ekhaya.
When my father was still alive, I go to Professor to come and stay in a time alarm.
Okay.
Because time alarm was very, 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 very serious. So thina baba bethu basishaya. Nina manje nithi no, it's abuse, which is cool. So I left him with Nayatole kancane le ngitholi, you know.
I should milk white time.
Blind. I remember there was a time I used to play piano bleeding. Because I was lazy at sometimes and ngithanda ibhola. And manje ngiyodlala ibhola bese kumele ngibuye ngizodlala ngapha thola ukuthi ngiyapainelwa. Whereas in some days besithanda ukudlala namajita wasehostela. Ziyakhahlelana leza. Akafakanga ama corks mari hey. Lela nyawo lela mali khahlelisa.
Ngathi corks.
Ngifika uzwe kahle that yachifta le dolo leli. So when I come home you will yell at me and say I must stop that soccer thing because he ain't disturb to play my drums. So Professor, I think he took a lot from that and the remixes yenzile of my love song. It's actually my original song that I released in 1991, I think. And
Wait a minute, Grootman. Le ngoma le enishaye no Professor Nozakho
Nozakho.
remix.
It's a remix, yes.
Is it?
Yeah, the original was done in 1990.
1990.
And it was Professor's idea. Mama said Puti lockdown in March last year. He called me and said, Puti, I'm thinking, man, Puti Sibambe Lengoma, Wang Tumela. And I'm like, Joe, you still have this song, Prof? He says, yeah. Okay, cool, no problem. So I decided to take my studio and go to Rockville, connect a Cameroon. I wanted a bedroom studio now. So I did the rhythm, like revamped it, sent it to him, and he sent back with the few drum beats, because we wanted to get some he's got some elements of what is called a mapiano, but it's more of a production and properly done.
Yes.
And before I know it, it was a smash. It's a beautiful
Wow.
song.
I mean, you even showed us, earlier on the video.
Yes.
It's looking amazing.
Thank
It's
you.
looking
Thank you
amazing,
very much. Thank
and
you.
I'm sure it's gonna rock South Africa. This one.
I'm hoping so.
We were
Thank you.
jamming to it even this morning.
Thank you. Sometimes it's difficult lately to rock the real things. People want
Oh
plastic.
yeah.
People want fakes.
Yeah.
People want junk. Unfortunately, it takes a while to want to but yes, that's what it is.
What's the one thing that you regret ukuthi kube wayenza or azange uyenze back in the day as an artist?
As an artist.
Maybe signing with a major or not signing with a major?
No, I love that. No, signing was for me was fun, because when I signed my first contract, those guys, they didn't tell me as a minor, I'm not supposed to sign on my own. My parents must sign with me, and I signed, but my parents didn't sign. And when I wanted to leave them, they were trying to make halabaloo stories.
It was signed.
But then I went and did my research. Do you remember that I'm a minor? Which means your contract is null and void. So it was useless. So that I don't regret. But the only thing I really regret is to start the idea of Kwaito. Because your lessons are so namhlanje. People misunderstood what I was trying to do. And who doesn't even know the keys, who doesn't even know the guitar or anything. But now they're musicians, because Fruity Loops has made it easy for them. And I don't know what happened in Klavin. It's just, it's a beat. When's I'm a beater. Hey, my daughter. I'm like, what? Fruity Loops. Yeah, I'm a beater. And I think the beaters are really beater. And includes is blind, but in any case, yes, I regret a bit, but I would say personally as a musician, I don't regret much. No, I lived it all, and I'm still living it all by now. I still want to be an influencer to those who want to go the right route. Once again, everything I say, it's not good. Another man's food is another man's poison. So what's good for me might not be good for you.
Oh, yeah.
And what I say, at some point, I stand to be corrected, but I still stay my view. It's so incorrect. It's not proper. Man.
Absolutely.
I mean, how do you release a song with a bass drum that is fluff? I mean, poof, 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 poof. That's that's a song, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's a hit. It's a hit. Yeah, sure.
Now, Prajonila, how did you get to work with the legends like Nana Coyote, Steve Kekana, and the late Ray Phiri?
Ray. It started with Ray Phiri originally, but before that, let me tell you the beautiful story. I worked with the African Jazz Pioneers. I got to produce the African Jazz Pioneers' last album before Brandemi and Brajayan passed away. That was like a whole brass section. Like I felt so honored to be producing them. And then from producing them, I produced Brastompi Mave, which was another smash, beautiful Nomganga. And then before that, Brenda Fassie just came to me and looked at me and pointed at me and, "What producer I am when?" You know how Brenda was.
Wow.
She was like crazy, and that was also another honor. And then Mom Sbongile Kumalo, before she passed away, I got to produce a song at Kola Moya for her. And then I met with Ray, and he became my business partner. And the reason why my company today is called Killer Joe Records it was through Prare, because every time he went to the States, when he came back with some equipment for me, and he would say, you know, Quincy Jones has got a song called Killer Joe. You are Killer Joe.
Oh.
Yes. So I felt honored once again. You know, "Eish, lo muntu uzangenza ngibe pompous, yes." But it was a beauty. And I think it's because I was giving it my best shot. Every time I had a production to do, I would be focused and I would be doing it. So I got to work with all these legends. And then from Oprare, I got to meet abantu abafana nabo Pratepotsula, Hugh Masikela, Lettah Fassie and Lettah Mbuli. I'm talking of people that literally would communicate, and still I feel honored. And when I worked with Steve and Pranana, it was because mang performer. Abantu abaningi had forgotten Steve Kekana is still alive. Abantu abaningi had forgotten Nana Kwaito is still alive. So I would say Jonina featuring Friends as a surprise guest, and perform with them. But the concept grew so big, we ended up saying we are a trio. Then we did the album. Myself, Steve Kekana, and Pranana Koyote, may his soul rest in peace. But myself and Steve Kekana and Babsi Mlangeni are still friends.
Yes.
So much that when I went to pay Lobola in 2019, ngiphethe lamakrotman afaka amasudu Steve no Babsi babafaka amasudu bangilobolela expecting you yonke. So siyalaphana sithi kena whatever they want siyabanikeza ngeke sithi siyobuya next week yabo sesiqedelile, and it was beautiful. And I'm still humbled that they welcomed me and they talked to me and they are my friends.
Wow. Tell us more about Killer Joe Records.
Killer Joe Records is a label I started with Mr. Ray Chikapapiri, I think 2002, if I'm not wrong. And no, 1998. And we were in Bramfontein with studios. But what I'm doing there is, at some point I had a break, you know. I had a break just focusing on me as an artist. But now lately I'm full force looking for talent, because I believe there's a lot of talent out there.
Absolutely.
But there are no producers. There are no proper sound engineers to take the talent, motivate it and cultivate it and make sure that it's proper. You know, that's why Tola Abantwana talented but Limala, you know. So that's what we're trying to do as Killer Joe Records. And our logo is music is our life, and we keep on keeping on.
Wow. Now tell me something, Prachonina. What does one have to have ukuthi ungene kule industry? Because sometimes it seems like your beautiful voice alone is not good enough. Do you need to have the right team or the right connections?
Wrong, yes.
Say it all.
Only on Idols. Your voice doesn't matter. Only on Idols, the voice doesn't matter.
Okay.
Because Idols is trying to direct people to the Western scenario. But for me, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a beautiful voice. I'm looking for that voice that I know that is talent, and I can spot it. You know, there's a song called Levuta Vuta Vuta. Last year when we were under the lockdown, we had an event that we were going to do called Lentues Manje streaming. How boring, like 11 by 10, but yeah. Anyway, she was doing catering. And then she said she was a singer, but me and myself, I was like, it's okay, yes. And then she says, so she sent me a voice note, and I listened, and I was like, what? So I sent her a song with no voice, is nothing, and I said, please write the chorus and your verse on this song, then I'll take you serious. My man, she wrote that chorus, and then that's how easy.
Is she the one or that you featured on the track?
That's it. Totally through catering.
Wow.
You know, and it was amazing. It's like,
wow. Wow. Oh, yes.
Yeah. So for me, the voice matters, my man.
All right.
For me, to play your instrument matters. But even if you play an instrument, you need to practice. We can tell whether you practice less or more. Because an instrument, you must practice at least 5 to 6 hours a day, you know, for you to be the best. And I can pick that up. That's what I'm looking for. For you to be part of Killer Joe Records, you gotta be the best. Otherwise, Blomanga Lesaitinu Shama Pia.
talking about Killer Joe Records and raw talent that you're talking about, what's the one advice you would give to an upcoming artist who is watching now, be it anything?
I would say to the up and coming artists, please be original. It's very important. Be yourself. And by saying that, it doesn't only start with your music. It starts by being your own black person, if you are black, that is. Uzithande, ube umuntu, ube umuntu ebantwini, ubuyise ubuntu. That on its own will create the core within yourself to be the actual proper artist you want to become. Secondly, there are those who have one hit or two hits at this point in time already. I've met a few of them, but mawuhlangana nabo, hey, le out izipompas kanjani, ngazi ukuthi wenzela mina ifavor. And I find it very sad. But for those who are up and coming also, please try and be humble. Nothing beats being humble. It just makes life easy. It makes life beautiful. You get to mingle with everyone and easy like that. But more than anything, I go back to my first point. Be original. I'm tired of monotony, because music has become so monotonous. I might say the words of Steve Kekana the time he found out about some artist. He said, "Joe, I resign." So, Steve, you can't. It's because I mean, please, man, come on. We gotta get this right, and it's only a matter of trying to find yourself, because there is so much music. Music is so deep. There's so much genres of music we can put together, and it's seen to say to us core, because that's who we are. That's where we come from. If you forget that, I feel sorry and pity for you all, And we don't English is money for you all. Yeah, my man.
No, it makes sense, Kurutman.
Thank you.
Now, what's currently happening in your world? Any new music or album release? Because you don't seem to stop.
There's a lot happening. I just released a single of my daughter, Nayende, called Come to School Every Day, which was commissioned by the Department of Education, so we can motivate the kids to go to school, because it's important.
Yes.
And mabanga esikolweni badlinyawuphi, so rather go to school.
Yes.
And then I just finished another song, which fortunately commissioned by Department of Arts and Culture, a song called One Africa, which I'm soon to put on the upload.
Okay.
On the whatever the stores into this release CD. But in any case, we're gonna be ready to do that in a video. But the song is basically talking about the gender-based violence, talking about Africa being united as a whole, and please don't get my statement wrong. I don't mean to be a racist.
Yes.
I'm just a black conscious person
Yes.
with gonna stand in Tinabandu, because I think that's what we like the
Absolutely.
most. So my focus is on us more than anything.
No, that's power right there, as you can hear from the man himself, the living legend himself. Now, any message to your fans out there, Grootman? How can they find you on social media? Ngiyakhumbula ukuthi social media yakuthatha.
Yeah, no. I think in a book face, Joe Nina, and then you can Gram Insta, Joe Nina 50, Twitter, ne?
Yeah,
On
it's
Twitter as
Twitter.
well.
It's called Twitter.
I think it's Joe Nina 50. But you just Google me, you'll find me. Google me, you'll find me. I'm trying to work on that slowly but surely. I'm getting into it. But the message I want to say to my fans is, I love your support. I love you loving me, and I appreciate it. I love you more than anything. May God bless you, and I want you all to know that uNkulunkulu sithanda ngokweqiniso, hayi ngokwefake lesonto.
Wow. Johnny Grootman, to us, you are not a musician, but you are music, Grootman.
Thank you.
And Umaria Poresta washaya wena ding dong, but today when ushaya tina ding dong,
Sweet.
I must say that, and just know that the East Rand is rallying behind you.
Thank you.
Grootman.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Much
Saknanya,
appreciated.
big time.
Yabo.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. As you know by now, this is where we give our unsung heroes their flowers whilst they can still smell them. My name is Mbandi M, and from myself and the team all the way from Bahamas, KwaThema, we thank you for watching, and we'll see you in season 2. Goodbye.
Izolo, hey, uthi ngembraza. Hey, izolo mangani uthi ngiyamjama thanda ingoma yami uthi ngimpinde ayisikamani uthi ngimpinde
Kancane ngizwe ngathi nami khumuka